Let's walk on the wise path.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to live a life of virtue and purpose? Look no further than the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Aurelius was a Stoic philosopher who believed in living a life of virtue, and his teachings have inspired many over the century. Today, we're going to explore 6 ways to be like Marcus Aurelius and live a life of meaning and fulfillment. 1. Practice mindfulness. Aurelius believed in the power of mindfulness to help us live a more present and fulfilling life. By focusing on the present moment, we can avoid being distracted by worries about the past or future and fully appreciate the beauty and wonder of the world around us. To practice mindfulness, try setting aside a few minutes each day to simply observe your surroundings without judgment. Take a few deep breaths and notice the colors, textures, and sounds around you. Allow yourself to fully experience the moment without worrying about what's next or what has already passed. Mindfulness can be especially helpful during stressful times. When we feel overwhelmed or anxious, taking a few moments to focus on the present can help us feel more grounded and centered. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we can release our worries and anxieties and focus on what we can control. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily routine can have a profound impact on our overall well-being. It can help us reduce stress, improve our mood, and increase our sense of gratitude and appreciation for the world around us. So take a few moments each day to practice mindfulness and see how it can transform your life for the better. 1. Exercise self-restraint. Self-restraint is a powerful tool that can help us make better decisions and live a more fulfilling life. When we practice self-restraint, we are taking control of our desires and impulses rather than letting them control us. This can be especially challenging in a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages telling us to indulge in our every whim and desire. But by setting clear boundaries for ourselves and holding ourselves accountable, we can resist temptation and make choices that align with our values and goals. Self-restraint is not about depriving ourselves of pleasure. Rather, it is about making conscious choices that bring us closer to our goals and help us live a more meaningful life. It's about recognizing that the things we want in the moment may not be what we truly need in the long run. By practicing self-restraint, we can avoid making impulsive decisions that we may regret later on. One effective way to practice self-restraint is to set clear boundaries for ourselves. This might mean setting limits on the amount of time we spend on social media, or making a rule to only eat junk food on special occasions. By setting these boundaries, we are making a commitment to ourselves to prioritize our long-term goals over our short-term desires. Of course, self-restraint is not always easy. We are bound to face temptation and moments of weakness. But when we do slip up, it's important to hold ourselves accountable and learn from our mistakes. Instead of beating ourselves up for giving in to temptation, we can use our slip-ups as opportunities for growth and learning. By reflecting on what led us to make that decision, we can identify areas where we need to work on our self-restraint and develop strategies to help us stay on track in the future. Ultimately, practicing self-restraint is about taking control of our lives and making choices that align with our values and goals. By doing so, we can live a more fulfilling life and make a positive impact on those around us. So the next time you're faced with a difficult decision, take a moment to reflect on your values and goals. Ask yourself what choice aligns best with those things and practice self-restraint to make it happen. You'll be amazed at the positive impact it can have on your life. 1. Practice acceptance. Aurelius believed that practicing acceptance is an essential part of living a fulfilling life. Acceptance means recognizing and coming to terms with the things that are outside of our control and focusing our energy on what we can control. This can be a challenging concept to put into practice, especially when we are faced with difficult or unpleasant situations. However, by reframing these situations as opportunities for growth and learning, we can reduce stress and anxiety and focus on what really matters. When we resist accepting the things we cannot change, we often end up feeling frustrated and powerless. We may try to control the situation or try to change others, but ultimately, this only leads to more stress and anxiety. By accepting the things we cannot change, we are able to let go of this struggle and focus on what we can control. To practice acceptance, it can be helpful to take a step back and reflect on the situation at hand. Ask yourself what you can and cannot control, and focus your energy on the things you can control. This might include your thoughts, feelings, and actions. By focusing on what you can control, you are able to take proactive steps toward a solution rather than feeling helpless and overwhelmed. It's important to remember that acceptance is not the same as resignation. Acceptance means recognizing the reality of the situation and taking steps to move forward in a positive way. It does not mean giving up or giving in to negative circumstances. By practicing acceptance, we can reduce stress and anxiety and focus on what really matters in our lives. As you practice acceptance, it's important to be kind and compassionate to yourself. Acceptance can be a difficult concept to put into practice, and it's okay to stumble along the way. Remember that growth and learning often come from challenges and setbacks, and be gentle with yourself as you work to incorporate acceptance into your daily life. By practicing acceptance, we can reduce stress and anxiety and focus our energy on what really matters. We can let go of the struggle to control things that are outside of our control and focus on what we can control. So the next time you are faced with a difficult situation, try practicing acceptance. Reframe the situation as an opportunity for growth and learning, and focus your energy on what you can control. You'll be amazed at how this simple practice can transform your life for the better. 1. Pursue virtue. Marcus Aurelius believed that we should strive to be good people and make the world a better place. By pursuing virtue, we can live a fulfilling life and have a positive impact on those around us. But what does it mean to pursue virtue? And how can we embody these values in our everyday lives? To pursue virtue, start by identifying a set of values that are important to you. These might include honesty, compassion, gratitude, or any other values that resonate with you. Take some time to reflect on why these values are important to you and how you can embody them in your everyday life. Once you've identified your values, look for opportunities to put them into practice. This might involve volunteering in your community, helping a friend in need, or simply being kind to a stranger. By actively seeking out opportunities to live out your values, you can make a positive difference in the world and cultivate a sense of meaning and purpose in your own life. It's important to remember that pursuing virtue is not about being perfect. We all make mistakes and have moments of weakness. But by striving to embody our values as best we can become better people and make a positive impact on those around us. When we pursue virtue, we are not only benefiting ourselves, but also those around us. When we act with honesty, compassion, and gratitude, we inspire others to do the same. By being a role model for those around us, we can create a ripple effect that spreads positivity and kindness throughout our communities. So the next time you're faced with a decision, ask yourself, what would a virtuous person do? How can I embody my values in this situation? By intentionally living out our values, we can make a positive impact on the world and live a more fulfilling life. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. By pursuing virtue and embodying our values, we can become the best versions of ourselves and inspire others to do the same. 1. Cultivate humility. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Emperor and Stoic philosopher, believed that cultivating humility was a crucial aspect of living a virtuous life. Humility involves recognizing our own limitations and being open to feedback and criticism from others. By practicing humility, we can learn from our mistakes and shortcomings and ultimately become better people. One way to cultivate humility is to acknowledge our mistakes and shortcomings. It can be difficult to admit when we are wrong or when we have made a mistake, but doing so is an important part of cultivating humility. When we acknowledge our mistakes, we show that we are willing to learn and grow from our experiences. This can help us to avoid making the same mistakes in the future and to become better versions of ourselves. Another way to cultivate humility is to be open to feedback and criticism from others. When we are receptive to feedback, we show that we value the opinions of others and are willing to consider different perspectives. This can help us to identify areas where we need to improve and to learn from the insights and experiences of others. Of course, cultivating humility is not always easy. It can be difficult to admit when we are wrong or to accept feedback that is critical of our actions or decisions. However, by practicing humility, we can create a more positive and constructive dialogue with others and ultimately become better people. In addition to acknowledging our mistakes and being open to feedback, cultivating humility also involves recognizing that no one is perfect. We all have room for growth and improvement, and it is important to approach life with a sense of humility and openness to new experiences and perspectives. By practicing humility, we can become better people and make a positive impact on those around us. We can learn from our mistakes and shortcomings and be open to the feedback and insights of others. Cultivating humility is an ongoing process, but by embracing this value, we can become more compassionate, empathetic, and understanding individuals. 1. Led by example. Marcus Aurelius believed that setting a positive example is one of the most powerful ways we can inspire others to be their best self. By leading by example, we can create a ripple effect of positivity and kindness that spreads throughout our communities and beyond. So how can we lead by example? It starts with living our lives in a way that aligns with our values and inspires others to do the same. This might involve volunteering in our communities, standing up for what we believe in, or simply being kind and compassionate to those around us. Being a role model for others doesn't mean that we have to be perfect. In fact, being open about our imperfections and mistakes can be just as inspiring as our successes. When we share our struggles and vulnerabilities with others, we create a space for empathy and understanding that can bring us closer together and inspire us to be better people. Another important aspect of leading by example is encouraging others to pursue their own goals and aspirations. By showing support and encouragement for those around us, we can create a culture of growth and positivity that inspires everyone to be their best self. Of course, leading by example is not always easy. We are bound to face challenges and setbacks along the way, but by staying true to our values and persevering through difficult times, we can inspire others to do the same. So the next time you're faced with a decision, ask yourself, what kind of example do I want to set for others? How can I live my life in a way that inspires those around me? By leading by example, we can create a more positive and compassionate world, one small action at a time. Remember, you don't have to be a Roman emperor or a Stoic philosopher to lead by example. You just need to be true to yourself and your values and be willing to support and inspire those around you. So go out there and be the change you want to see in the world. You never know who you might inspire along the way. By practicing mindfulness, exercising self-restraint, practicing acceptance, pursuing virtue, cultivating humility, and leading by example, we can be more like Marcus Aurelius and live a life of purpose and meaning. Remember that living a virtuous life is not about being perfect, but rather about striving to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. So go out there and live your life with purpose and inspire others to do the same.